So what's the
Hello.
temperature like out there?
Pretty decent at the time. Hello and welcome to the 63rd episode of Out of State DMing. I'm your host, lluksblackheart, and joining me today are both my lovely co-hosts, LadyCelt and the Bacon. Uh, and we are going to continue uh, our discussion of going over fourth level sorcerer wizard spells. Last week we ended with Phantasmal Killer, which is a very stupid powerful spell because has an instant kill effect on top of, if the subject does pass, it does 3d6 damage. So while the target passes or fails, it's still a really good spell. There's nothing says dying to your worst nightmare. The next spell is Rainbow Pattern. It's lights that fascinates up to 24 hit dice worth of creatures. So it's not necessarily like, oh, it has to be level this or under. It's a total of that. So if there's like 24 goblins, they're normally one hit die creatures. So you're like, okay, boom, be fascinated. Or if you're fighting several powerful creatures that their combined hit dice is 24, you have a chance of fascinating them. Or if you get really, really unlucky and there's a pair of creatures that have separately 13 hit dice a piece, you can only technically affect only one of them because the total amount of hit dice you can affect is 24, and both of them combined is 26. So one's going to be distracted while the other one is going to be not so happy that you rainbow pattern their friend. But for a fourth level spell, you shouldn't really have to worry about super high hit die creatures at this particular point, unless you upset your DM or you're deliberately trying to go for things above your pay grade. The next spell can be a good one. Shadow Conjuration. It mimics conjurations below 4th level, but only 20% real. We would have to get into the spell specifics itself for what that actually means when it says mimics conjurations of 4th level or below, but only 20% real. Some spells don't really tell you everything in that little description because, well, they normally don't, but it can be super confusing, so we would have to, at a later date, when we get to that, we'll be covering those. The next spell is a spell lots of people try to get away with, but they forget that they can be the bad guy because of it. Animate Dead. You create a undead skeleton and or zombies, because when you cast it on a corpse, you pick, is it going to be a skeleton or a zombie? A lot of people think that just because they have access to it, they get to be the friendly necromancer, despite the fact that creation of undead, it's something bad guys do. And societies go, no, don't do that.
Creating the undead is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't actually have an answer for that. I was going somewhere with that. I just don't know where.
Well, if someone's inclined to animate the dead, they're not doing it to distribute tea and crumpets.
No.
You know what? You know what? Maybe I just need friends and I don't like the people that are living to be my friend.
I have nearly 30 years of experience in retail, and that is totally fair. That is a good assessment.
I mean, I'm not going to say you're wrong, because, like, I don't like those people. Here's a here's a skeleton, and then here's a zombie. That's Bill and Ted. They're my best friends. But that one just makes weird clanky skeleton noises, and that one occasionally makes a moaning sound. Yes, and we get along swellingly. They help me do things.
All I can
What?
picture is a zombie in the corner going.
Like in the second season of Wednesday.
The zombie.
Yeah.
It's my
But Pugsley
friend.
finds it
It
and
eats
starts it up.
brains. It's eating
Well,
people.
I know some people that would be perfectly safe around a zombie.
If it's the brain eating kind, I know more
If it's
than
the brain eating kind, they're fine.
I know lots of people that they could like walk through a horde of brain eating zombies and not get touched. The zombies will probably just go to get away from them. It's like, oh my god, they're so brainless. I can feel the drain in them. Are they a super brain eating zombie already? It's like, no. Why don't they want to eat me? It's like
Intelligence goes to die.
it just goes and dies. No, but I said, like, even in campaigns or settings where there's like an acceptable god of undead, dead players will go out of their way to go, I'm just going to create this here, or I'm going to, particularly kill things because I want a skeleton or a zombie version of it following me around. It's like, but you have to follow these things here. And the god has its own limitations on how you do stuff with undead. Like, particularly doing it on sentient creatures after you get some form of consent from them to animate them. Because there are such spells as like speak with dead. Or people who go, hey, if I die, feel free to turn me into a skeleton or a zombie because I'd rather you still have something to help you than, nothing. No, they're
Right. You're not doing anybody any good rotting in the grave.
they're like, oh, there's dire polar bears here. Okay, we're going to specifically hunt one down and kill it because I want it as a zombie. It's like, no. Even if it shows up and you fight it in self-defense, it's not going to stay around for you to kill it once it gets to a certain point. It's going to bugger the hell off. And you're not killing it for self-defense at that point. You're killing it because you want to turn it into a freaking zombie. It's like, no, that's not a good thing. You're not being the good guy now. You're being an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet plenty of people like that going, well, I know the orcs are supposed to be the bad guys, so I'm going to cast to animate undead because I want a pair of zombie orcs helping us fight. It's like, aren't we fighting them because they work for a evil necromancer person? Yeah. Isn't the people we work for anti-undead? Yes. Why is this okay then? Because we're the good guys. It's like, no, you're not. No.
Everyone is the hero in their own story.
Yeah, it's like you're a hero till you do stuff to prove otherwise. Animate Dead is easily one of the spells that just because you have access to it doesn't make you the good guy for using it. Mainly because how many good necromancers are there? How many?
Yeah,
Sir, I beg to differ. I was a very good necromancer in our campaign. All right.
There's good and then there's good at it.
I was both. I was both. I was both parts of that coin on that one.
Can you be more precise
in my
about what
5e
campaign
game
you were running around raising undead in?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Can you be more specific about what campaign you were?
The Friday campaign.
You didn't raise anything.
I didn't.
No, you
Really?
never cast that spell.
Are you sure?
What did you raise from the dead?
Raja. Just so we can kill him again.
That was you not using animate dead. That was you using a form of resurrection. Not the same thing.
It was anime dead because remember I turned him into a butler for a while, and then they killed him, and then they brought him back to life, and then that was when he got loose because I wasn't there to stop it. Yeah, no, I did use animate dead, but
That doesn't count.
it doesn't count.
That
It's
doesn't
okay
count.
if you're being a dick when it's okay if you're being a dick because the DM wanted you to be a dick. It's just wrong if you want to be a dick because you want to be a dick.
Well, for
That was right.
starters, you have to remember I was feeling pretty petty about that particular character, so I let a lot of shenanigans happen. That was one of
You
them.
did.
And then I
You did.
tried to
You
correct
did.
it by going, okay, we got to reel this in. Why are you guys escalating? We need to de-escalate. We can't be the bad guy. We're the fucking bad guys.
I was at no point ever was I ever suggesting I was not the bad guy.
No, but there was a few people that were trying to be the good guys, but then actively admitting that they want to do all these different things. Like, that's gonna affect your alignment. No, it's not. It's like, yes, it is. This is not
I
good.
accepted that. I accepted that my alignment changed to evil. I knew it was coming. I foresaw it.
Yes, and there was many
My Tempest
preparations for
cleric,
it.
my Dwarven Tempest cleric that I play in the 5e game, she's lawful good, but her fighting style is you gonna learn today.
Oh, I'm dead.
That's what she said. But moving past Animate Dead to a spell that, for some stupid reason, no one actually plans on reading it. They just assume it works the way that the name may or may not suggest. Bestow Curse. Would you like a guess to what this
Does it
spell
delay
does?
the effects of a curse?
I was gonna
Or
say
can
I
you
won't.
like save it for later? How does that
Bestow
work?
Curse does not delay a curse.
Oh, bestow curse. Never mind. I thought you said stow curse.
Oh,
Okay.
you missed the
Yeah, I'm
So
storing it for later.
yeah.
that's what I thought. That's
No. Uh, 9 out of 10 times, people are like, okay, I cast Bestow Curse. So what curses can I put on them? It's like, that's not how that spell works. But it's Bestow Curse. They don't read the little thing right there in the description for it. They don't go look up the spell itself to see how it works. This spell is extremely stupid because it can affect a target on multiple effectors depending on what avenue you choose. Because what it does is a -6 to a ability score, which if you use an enemy caster, you can strip their ability to cast spells or just a bunch of the spells. If you cast it on a melee combatant, you can strip them of their strength, ranged combatant, dexterity, or you can just go straight for their hit points and strip their con, which makes them easier to kill. So it's like, that's pretty stupid. An automatic -6 to that. We're just going to counter all your stuff, but bam. Then there's -4 on attack rolls, saving throws. So they hit less. All their saving throws are affected, so they pass less. And or a 50% chance of losing each action. Meaning there's a 50% chance they can't do anything. Making this 4th level spell possibly one of the best debuff spells. Because you can go after an ability score, their ability to hit, their ability to pass saving throws. You can potentially stop them from doing things. There's like the 50% chance of losing an action. Well, they go to attack. 50% chance if you can attack. They go to move. 50% chance if they go to move. They go to cast a spell. 50% chance they can't cast the spell. So, like anything they do, there's an automatic 50% chance they just can't do it. Because the spell, Bestow Curse, goes, what's the magic word? What's the magic word? So, it is a very, very effective spell. Especially if you're trying to compact it with itself by hitting the person multiple times. As memory serves, it doesn't actually affect all of those things I mentioned with one casting. So you have to hit multiple times to actually do it, which hypothetically means if you manage to hit someone with it 6 times and you choose the -6 to ability score, you can't choose the same ability score over and over and over again because same negative effects stacking with one another. But it hypothetically means you can lower a target's all of their stats by 6 points, which could lower melee abilities, hit points, lower their AC because it affects their dexterity, make them stupider, not so wismatic, make them not so charming. So you can really have fun just messing with a person. Because it is a really good spell. But people automatically assume that because it says Bestow Curse, they get to look up the list of curses and just pick one of the curses they want to throw at them. Not what the spell actually does, but they think it's just this over here. It's like, no. You can't have that type of fun. The next spell is an evil spell. Can have your character's alignment switch to evil, while simultaneously possibly making your character one of the most wanted creatures in existence. Contagion. Inflicts a
So you make
subject
everyone
with
sick.
chosen disease. Which means, while it's in a heat of combat against a monster you guys really want to fight, or hey, since we're going to be the bad guys and we really, really want like our enemies to suffer, I'm going to sneak into their city and I'm going to cast one of the most infectious diseases I can find on a few people. There's some vicious ones. Like one of my favorite ones to make people weep is soft pox. It's a contact-based disease. So if someone has it and you touch them, you now have to roll to see if you have it. Not to mention, if they touch an object, it stays viable for up to 3 days. So like you touch a door, a railing, a cart, a spoon, a cup, you can easily end up spreading this. And what it does is it lowers your natural armor by 1 point per day. You're not able to fight it. If you don't have a natural armor because it reaches 0, or you just don't have it, like humans, dwarves, and stuff don't have it, it lowers your hit points. Your actual hit points just starts to lower and lower and lower until your character reaches 0 hit point. Until you reach 0 hit points, which is pretty much, hey, look, your character's dead now. So it's a very vicious way of ruining an entire civilization, or at least making an enemy faction or stuff just not really want to mess with you, because you're like, I'll go evil and I'll give you guys a disease you don't want. But Contagion in itself, that spell is considered an evil spell, which means you're going evil for using it. It doesn't really matter why, who, or what disease you pick. You're now a bad guy because of that spell. I'm surprised Bacon doesn't have any commentary about that spell.
Nope. I've already got an idea for that spell and what I'm going to do in my next campaign because your boy is like determinately evil all the time.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. I've got plans for you.
Uh, the next spell is also a really good spell because if you because it can just devastate anything you hit with it. Invisceration. I'm probably butchering the name. But what this spell does is when you hit the subject with it and they fail the saving throw, they gain 1 die 4 negative levels.
Oh,
Which means for every negative level you gain, you lose 5 hit points. Straight off the top. For every negative level you gain, you get a minus to all die rolls. So all attack rolls, all saving throws, and all skill checks take that negative. Doesn't matter what class you are, doesn't matter what creature you are, you just suffer those negatives. At whatever happens first, your hit points reaching 0 due to the increase of minuses of 5, or you reach 0 in your levels, the spell can kill creatures. Because if you have 0 levels or 0 hit dice, you're dead. So anything that has 4 or less hit point, 4 or less levels, you have a chance of one-shotting it. If you utilize certain magical feats, while you have the feat itself or the rod, like for instance, you do a maximize empowered, you can end up hitting 6 negative levels on a creature, which that right there severely handicaps a creature because there's like 30 hit points gone. There's -6 to pretty much all its die rolls. So it's a very effective spell. If memory serves, undead and constructs are the only ones that aren't affected by it. But at the same point, at the same time, you don't really care because you have other spells to deal with those. This is a I hope you like negative energy. Slaps in the face. The next spell it's a decent spell. Fear. Subjects within cone flee for 1 round per level. So pretty much you can get a group of bad guys to just keep running from you for a while. And because this is a 4th level spell, you're probably going to be like level 8 when it hits. That's at least 8 rounds of some of the bad guys running away from you. If they can't flee, they kind of just huddle in a corner till either the spell wears off or you go up and smack them in melee. So, still a good spell. Not necessarily a big spell a lot of people use because, well, they're silly. But it's still a decent spell. The next spell is a spell that not a lot of people use because they don't want to waste a 4th level slot on it, is Mass Enlarged Person. If anyone at home knows what Enlarged Person does, then you'll know that the Mass version is so much better. Does Enlarged Person, the person does get bigger. They get a bonus to their strength, their constitution. So even though they take the size penalty of -1 to AC and attack rolls, they still get the normally like reach. Their weapons are considered large size now because it affects all of their equipment as well. So it's like you get lots of benefits. The Mass version, instead of it affecting one creature, it affects multiple creatures. So instead of having to prep like, okay, there's 4 of us, I need 4 enlarged persons, or at least 3 for the other party members, you can go, oh, I'm just going to prep one spell, the Mass version, and all of us are going to be large sized. Therefore, all of us are now harder to kill because we're stronger and tougher. We may not be able to squeeze in small spaces as easily, but if you're using the spell, you're not trying to hide. You're trying to beat face and not die so easily.
right.
Yeah. And all mass spells are better than their normal versions because they affect multiple creatures per casting instead of one. But this is one of the spells that, in my experience as both a player and a DM, people rather just take the normal enlarged person and prep it multiple times instead of wasting a 4th level spell on the mass version. Even though it doesn't make logical sense. You don't want to cast one spell, but you're willing to cast the weaker version multiple times, even though this... It just gets silly and goofy.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Here's a spell that, just off the minor description, people try to use this. Polymorph gives one willing subject a new form. While it can be properly used against a unwilling subject, we'd have to get to the spell itself. But being able to look at your friend, the halfling, and go, hey, do you want to be a half-orc for a while? Because they want to run into melee and be more effective. Well, boom, now you're medium-sized creature, so you get the half-orc stuff for the time being instead of the halfling stuff. And if memory serves, it doesn't necessarily have to be like humanoid creatures. It's like, hey, we gotta get a spy in there to see what's happening without them being caught. Well, this spell's gonna last a while, so I'm gonna turn this person into a alley cat. Now they're not going to be so suspicious when people see them and see it in the warehouse. They think that there must be rats or something, because why would there be a cat there if there's nothing for the cat to eat? Or they're like, hey, it's an asshole cat. Yes, well, cats are cats. So you can have some fun with your party with it. I don't think it's permanent, but we have to get the spell itself to figure out if it's permanent or not. But it's still a good spell for spying, scouting, general shenanigans. Like if you need to go somewhere where there's this huge body of water. Well, isn't it grand if you can turn someone into a giant saltwater crocodile? That way it can coast along. Nothing's really going to mess with it in that body of water because it's a 20-foot crocodile. But the party members can be somewhat just nonchalantly holding on to it as they swim them across. So it's like you can use it to circumvent terrain. Mary's Memnotic Enhancer. Wizard only, meaning sorcerers can't use this spell. This is wizard only. Prepare extra spells or retain one just cast. Which pretty much means you can use that spell to be able to re-get a spell that you already just cast, or you can get additional castings of other spells. So it helps you cast more spells. And any spell that does that is generally a good spell because, well, it enhances your spellcasting capabilities. Here's another mass spell that, again, people rather take the single casting version of it. Mass Reduce Person. Which, it does the opposite of Enlarge Person. You make people smaller. Which pretty much means you can make that large ogre into a medium-sized ogre. Therefore, its strength and con go down. So it's not going to hit as hard or have as much hit points. You want the halfling to temporarily ride a horse for a little bit. Well, instead of it being a large-sized creature, it's a medium-sized creature. So it's pretty much let's turn it into a pony. Parties having problems squeezing through a space. Well, mass reduced person. Now you can all fit. And like I said before, it's one of those spells that people rather take the single casting version instead of the mass casting version because they don't want to use their brain. The very last 4th level spell is a really good spell, Stone Shape, that pretty much lets you sculpt stone into pretty much any shape. You're in a dungeon. There's a locked barred door separating you from this room. Well, dungeons are typically made out of stone. You touch the wall, stone shape it into an archway. Now you guys can get in the room. Bypass the door. You guys are on a mountain and you need somewhere safe to sleep. Well, if you're high enough level, one casting the stone shape can make an outcropping. If you're not, multiple castings can do it. This is like 1 cubic foot per caster level. So you have to be at least like 8th level to cast this spell. So that's 8 cubic feet. Which, if you're at home, that's an 8 by 8 by 8 square you're affecting. That's a lot of stone. So you can just, bam, let's crawl in and sleep here tonight. Yay, you're safe on the mountain. You want to topple someone's castle. Well, their walls are made out of, typically, stone. Now they don't have a wall because you stone shape enough of the wall in just the right angle to cause weight to become a problem, and the wall just falls over. Or you just put a big hole in it, so that way you can just walk straight through it. If you want to be more stealthy, because of how it works. Now going from where you're at to the top, there's perfectly put handholds and footholds, so everyone can easily climb up into it. You want to try to make money. Go somewhere. Here's random bits of marble laying around. They're stone. Stone shape affects marble because it's stone. Now you have marble statues. Marble statues can go for quite a bit. Because of stone shape, they're really well crafted. Because your imagination technically is the limit of what it looks like. So if you don't really know what something looks like, you can't really make that. But you can go, I want to make little beholder statues out of marble. Because I've seen a beholder. It's a vicious monster. Voila! Now you have a bunch of marble beholder statues. You want to make a marble chessboard. That's perfect. Guess what? Stone shape. Hey, marble jade. Jade is a stone. Jade jewelry. Right there. It's a highly versatile spell. You want to collapse part of a dungeon to auto-kill the monster. Well, you can do that. Because I've done it. Nothing says you can't get away from me, bad guy, like having a stone statue of a middle finger smash into the ground in front of him. Yeah. So.
That would be such a wonderful ability to have. I'd be leaving people yard ornaments.
God, if I had this in real life, I would be a millionaire by now because I would literally just collect a bunch of rocks and just make stone figurines. Hell, there's a 30-pound obsidian in my living room right now for Marla.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I can turn that into all sorts of different shapes. There's like an 80-pound quartz crystal in my living room because my mom loves her rocks. Stone shape that into a bunch of different things. I can make them into make all sorts of cups. So it's like,
that would be amazing.
Oh God, in real life, yes, that spell right there. Hell, I wouldn't go out of my way to buy some super expensive material for a house, I'll just go, can you get me a big slab of rock? Just it's going to be expensive just on the mass of the rock. So it's just okay. Just carefully put that there in one intact piece. Why? I'm going to fuse. They come back in the next few days. It's like, how'd you turn that rock into a house? Magic. How do you have perfectly fit crystal windows? Magic. This spell, um, doubled up with stone wall, are like the perfect combo. The stone wall, all you need is a piece of stone. You plop it on the ground, you cast stone wall, and depending on your level, depends on how much permanent stone is created from that stone you just put on the ground. You can use stone shape to reshape it into whatever shape you want. So those two spells are, I'm not spending money to get this stone. I'm just going out and finding this rock. Throw it on the ground there. So boom. Lots of stone wall. Stone shape. Now it's whatever thing I want. It becomes the cheapest way to, I'm going to build myself a stone town. Or a really elaborate tower. I want a castle. I'm going to have a castle. Why? Stone wall mixed with stone shape. Quickest and cheapest construction job you'll ever see. God, I love cheap combos. There's like stone wall and stone shape as traveling spells can be used to make temporary shelter. Well, they're not necessarily temporary; they're permanent shelters along a route where like produce the stone you need. Use stone shape to create this like little house or dormitory where people can go rest in. You can even use stone shape to make a fireplace. This fireplace with a stuff for the smoke to go out. So that way,
I'll be right
if you're
back. I'm
coming
getting more
back,
water.
yeah, it's like if you're coming back, you don't need to redo it. You can, hey, we have this here. You create several of them. Next to know, you have traveling points where anyone could use them. Excuse me. But that is the end of the 4th level sorcerer / wizard spells. There's lots and lots of good ones. Even though if you don't want to use the stone shape stone wall combo, there is the lemon secure shelter, which is always good, but it's not necessarily as permanent. And we all know how Bacon loves his sturdy sturdy cottages.
Yes, I do.
God, I love that spell. When in our next game, when you get access to 4th level spells, if you don't take that spell, I'm gonna be sad.
Listen, after all the shit I talked about that spell, if I don't take it, I'm gonna be mad at me.
If you don't take it, I'm gonna ask, who are you and what have you done with Bacon?
It is such a good spell. It's such a good spell. It is my favorite spell for a reason. It is my favorite support spell for a reason.
Yeah. There's some really good 4th level spells.
Yes, there is.
Like Remove Curse. I love Remove Curse so much. Oh god, do I love Remove Curse. Uh, some would think Arcane Eye for security reasons. I wish Greater Invisibility lasted longer. But because we still have some time left in this episode, we're going to cover some 5th level spells. As well, yeah, we still have some time. And we're going to start off with possibly one of the good uh, spells you could get, Break Enchantment. A free subject from an enchantment and or alteration or curse or petrification. So if someone's turned to stone, break enchantment. They're no longer stone. They're not petrified anymore. You don't like that curse? Break enchantment. You don't like this random enchantment that's stuck on them? Remove it. They have an alteration? Remove it. It is also really good to cast on enemies, so if the enemies are like, I have this awesome buff spell. Break enchantment. No, you don't. There's nothing's funnier than someone going, I have enlarged person. So ha, and you're like, break enchantment. Or like an enemy mage
No.
going, I have mage armor. What are you gonna do? Break enchantment. Really? Yes. I don't want you to have that plus 4 to your AC. Bye bye. Are you gonna recast mage armor? Break enchantment. Uh, you can also technically cast it on magical items to remove the enchantment from the item itself. Even though it's more supposed to be used on subjects, but it's still all around a really good. I'm gonna remove your buff. So unlike other debuffs that just give some sort of debuff to the target, this is a debuff that removes buffs. So it's kind of like Dispel Magic, but slightly better. Especially because like paladins get break enchantment, and that's always good.
Yeah.
They get it as like a 4th level spell, so it's like yay. The next spell is Dismissal. This spell can be good, but it only works on creatures that aren't native to the plane you're on. For instance, if you cast Dismissal on a orc, he's gonna stare at you like, what was that supposed to do? But if you look at like a Balor or a Pit Fiend, and you're like, I really don't want to mess with your shenanigans, I hope you roll low on this will saving throw, Dismissal. Oh, it worked? You're back to your home plane because you're not native here? Yay! We don't have to deal with the big scary monster. So it works on pretty much anything that's technically a non-native outsider. So if like a succubus shows up in
Could
the
you
middle
have
of the night to give you loving kisses, you can go, Dismissal. Begone, Satan!
Yeah.
Hello, Shamu.
The the Baylor, the if Gandalf could have cast dismiss.
Actually, no, he couldn't have. If we're talking about Lord of
Oh
the
no, because it was
Rings,
native. Because it was
Baylor's
native to that plane.
are, yeah, it's technically, that's its home plane. And that's because Lord of the Ring doesn't necessarily have planes with different planes of existence, and the same as like 3.5 D&D. So a lot of their shenanigans is weird, and
Stuck.
Baylor's aren't something from the pits of hell. They might as well be, but a Lord of the Rings Baylor makes a D&D Baylor look like it's a imp in size and power. There's like Lord of the Rings Baylor, it's like those things are pretty much demigods.
Mm-hmm.
They're winning that fight. D&D Baylor, yes, they're powerful. Yes, they will make you go, please don't swing that flaming sword at me, because if you get a nat 20, my head's coming off. But they're actually, you don't have to be a epic level person to beat it. You don't have to be pretty much a demigod like Gandalf is technically a demigod. It's in the lore. Wizards are stupid like that in that world. But you don't have to be.
Now I have Now I have a question,
I,
and I don't know if this applies to 3.5 or not because I'm not sure if this is a 3.5 creature or if this is a later edition creature. A false Hydra.
last I checked, that is not a 3/5 monster.
Okay.
If memory serves, isn't that the one that messes with memories?
Yes, it messes with memories and your perception of reality.
3.5 has, I can't remember what exactly ones have this, but they have like 4 or 5 different entities throughout the 3/5 books that pretty much do the same thing a false Hydra does. I can't remember off the top of my head what those creatures are, but there's a multiple ones that do it. It's like there's a plant one that makes you think you're in an oasis, but you're really walking into its stomach.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. You say that, but that's not a desert dwelling plant monster. That's a wherever the DM decides to interject it, stupid creature that you have to be able to beat like
Oh,
a DC 25 will saving throw to see past its illusion, and touching things doesn't auto bypass it
yeah.
because it makes its stomach literally look like an oasis. Like the perfect spot. You're in the middle of the woods. Here's the perfect spot to camp. Nope, you've just been eaten. Desert. Hey, look, that's refreshing water. No, you just gulped down stomach acid. It doesn't
And
Ew.
matter.
you're now dying.
Yeah, it's like literally boom. And if memory serves, that's not even like an epic level plant monster. That's like a CR 13 or something plant monster. Like mid level people are supposed to
Why?
be able to ease. I mean, supposed to be able to take
Why?
on a a gargantuan sized plant monster that can and will devastate a party
Why?
easily.
Why is the water spicy?
Why is the water spicy? No, but in 3/5, there's multiple creatures that can and will warp reality in one way or another to trick you into getting pwned. And that's without using illusion spells themselves. That's just them being able to alter reality. Um, like there's one creature that has the literal ability to alter reality the same way a god can alter reality. And if that doesn't scare you, the fact that that's a non-epic creature should.
Ooh, yeah.
Uh, that same creature gets to cast a crap ton of spells up to like 6th level as at will spells. Meaning it goes, oh, I have these spells here. They're unlimited castings. So nothing says eat this like unlimited fireballs or like unlimited cloud kills. Uh Speaking of cloud kill, that's a 5th level spell that instant kills creatures of 3 hit die or less, creatures of 4 to 6 hit die save or die, anything that has higher than a 6th level, well, 6 more than 6 hit dice, take con damage. So no matter what, you can pwn an entire group of creatures by either instant killing them, giving them a chance to die, or just stripping them of their con. So any creature that can cast that a lot of times has a chance of messing up the entire party. Because even if you have like 7 or more hit dice, you're like, we're not gonna die. It's like, yes, but take this con damage. If that doesn't make a bead of sweat drop down your forehead, I don't know what will, because con, unless you're an undead creature or a construct, you're not gonna like that.
Right.
Yeah. The next spell is a spell that I know Bacon once it gets access to 5th level creatures may or may not love this spell. Mordekainen's Private Sanctum. This prevents anyone from viewing and or scrying an area for 24 hours. It's a, I really don't want to be spied on. Bam. Because if memory serves, it's kind of like if you're outside that area, you don't know what's happening inside of it. What did you eat?
So I can just scream out domain expansion, and you can't do anything about what's going on in there.
I don't know what you ate. Pretty much, yeah. I don't know what you were chewing on that has red string, dog. I am both concerned and afraid.
And on today's episode of Naked and Afraid, Jacob.
Exactly.
I don't get that show. Ew.
You've
Great
never
way
been
to
naked
lose
and
weight.
afraid in the woods?
Can't say as I have.
Yeah.
Oh, you're missing out.
No, I don't think I am. I will live in blissful ignorance. Thank you.
Here's another 5th level spell that anyone could possibly fall in love with it. Lemon's Secret Chest. It hides an expansive chest on the ethereal plane that you can retrieve at will.
Listen, I'm not going to say Leomund might have been a bit of a schizophrenic, but he might have been a bit of a schizophrenic.
I mean, yeah, if you look at some of his spells, like Lemon's Secure Shelter, his secure chest, or his secret chest, he may or may not have wanted anyone to, stab him in his sleep or steal his belongings. So yeah, he definitely may or may not have had trust issues. But that's still, it's like, here's a chest, you can put whatever in it, and it's kind of just... The only time you have to worry about it, because it hides it on the ethereal plane, it means if a DM really, really wants to, you could retrieve it. There's sentient creatures on the ethereal plane. Well, there's a chance one of them may have accidentally stumbled upon your chest. Which means the DM can go, oh, you retrieve your chest, you find that it's open and empty. Because something on the ethereal plane took whatever was in it. Which means you have to now go to the
That's
ethereal
what
plane
my
to get it.
question was.
It's here's your side venture to retrieve whatever you had in that chest. Rest of the party, what did you put in there? The one party member did it. Do you guys remember that ring that, lets us, that whoever uses it rules the world, but you become evil? You mean the ring you're supposed to destroy? I didn't. I put it in the chest and shoved it there. So there's a creature on an ethereal plane that has a ring that we all nearly died trying to defeat the last person who had it. Yeah. And we have no idea what ethereal creature's wearing it. Exactly. Aren't ethereal creatures normally just a pain in the ass to deal with normally? Like ethereal Thitcher that has 3 hands and 3 arms? Or...
14 people. No, I'm just kidding.
It's like, there's a lot of shenanigan creatures that live on the ethereal plane. Like, some weird random shenanigans. So now you have to go find it. Yay. So it's a nice way to go, hey, what are we doing for our next adventure? Can I see your list of what's in your secret chest? Let's see if there's anything important you may want to go retrieve. What are you talking about? You'll find out.
Give it a minute. Let it sink in.
Yeah, let it sink in. The next spell is also a really good one. Major Creation. It acts just like the Minor Creation that lets you create wood and fabric things, but this one also does stone and metal. So within the limitations of it, you could technically use like the minor one to create arrow shafts, and then the major one to create the arrow heads to go on it. Or based once we get to the spell itself and we double check on what the limitations are, you could possibly create arms and armor with it, or at least the raw material needed for someone to actually make it. So it's like It's a good spell because you're creating random things. And here is one of Bacon's favorite spells. This is we're probably going to hear a thunk on a desk here in a moment. Mordecai's Faithful Hound.
Listen, I just got wrecked when you said that. Okay, that is the best security spell in all of D&D. I don't give a fuck what your argument is. I will fight you on it.
Yeah. Because it
If
is
you have an opinion, don't worry, it's fucking wrong.
unless it happens to be right.
I have never heard of this, so
It's a
what
phantom
is it?
dog that no one can actually see, and
It
it
is a
sits
hellhound. It is not a phantom. It is a literal fucking hellhound
pretty
that
much.
you summon, and it just guards whatever area
Now, it
you stick
doesn't
it in.
actually move, but if anyone that's not supposed to be there comes within a proximity, it starts barking like an alarm. Loud
And
barks.
then
If you
and
get within
then
biting distance of it, it will bite the ever living hell out of you. And nothing says this hurts like an invisible force going from barking to rending your flesh. You put it right outside a door you don't want anyone messing with. They get too close, it starts barking. Yeah, you may know there's something important in there, but you also know that the owner of that faithful hound is going to be showing up to wreck your face because his puppy just told him, someone's here, dear God, someone's here. If you'd ignore it and go, I'm going to go through that door, imagine a full-grown English Mastiff biting the crap out of your arm because you got too close.
and you can't see it.
And it's invisible. So unless you have a way of seeing invisible things, it's doing pretty much it's ignoring your dexterity. You're considered flat-foot against it because it's invisible. It doesn't become visible when it bites you or attempts to bite you. No, it stays invisible, and it's going to keep doing the biting until you are no longer by it. Meaning, as long as the spell stays active, you're not going to be able to pick that lock on that door or run up and touch that door with a spell to unlock it or even open it unless you have reach, because that dog is going to rip someone's hand off. So it's a very good, I don't care how good of a rogue you are, if you hear the dog barking, I hope you have something to get rid of that spell, because the owner's going to come and ruin your day if the dog already didn't. Because that's a wonderful
Break
spell.
enchantment.
Oh yeah, break enchantment. But the thing is, you have to be able to pinpoint where the dog is in order to disenchant the spell.
Yes, and you do not. The dog does not necessarily have to be in the dead center of the spell.
Exactly.
The dog has the ability. The dog does have the ability to move about the radius of the spell once it is activated.
Yeah. So it's like,
okay.
And technically, casting it on the dog doesn't get rid of the spell. You have to find the epicenter. Just like with all the other spells,
okay.
casting it within the effect doesn't actually get rid of it. You have to find the epicenter of it to get rid of it. Unless you have an AoE anti-magic effect to pop, like anti-magic field, stopping the dog becomes a problem.
And if you want to be a real big dick, you cast the spell, and then you cast silence over top of it.
Yeah, so you don't know what's going off until you're like, yay, why is there an invisible dog attacking me? Why can't I say anything? Oh, dear God, someone's a dick.
Somebody's a dick on a whole nother level of dick.
Yeah, exactly. And it just becomes horrible all in a short time period. Especially if the person goes, the hallway outside of this door. You do know that multiple people have to pass through this hallway to get to other sections. Oh, I don't care. I just don't want them messing with this door. Which, most hallways, you're coming within biting distance of the dog to get past that door. Meaning, no one can use that hallway because there's an invisible dog that's going to rend their flesh. And there's nothing in the book that says you cannot cast it more than once in an area.
I would
Meaning,
do this. I would take a I would cast it in a hotel hallway where a celebrity is staying. So let them know, oh, this is what it's like to have somebody close something down for your
yeah,
for your their convenience.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I said there's nothing that says you cannot have one active hound in a zone at a time. So you can cast a spell several times, and for the duration of the spell, you can have pretty much a pack of hounds guarding an area. So it stacks upon stacks of hilarious shenanigans. But
So this is my whole point to this too is that spell has come in handy on more than one occasion in more than one way. I have done some very mean things with that spell.
yeah, several people did not like the fact they couldn't use that tower. It's like it's
Listen,
not your tower to
I didn't
begin
want them
with.
I didn't want them to touch my shit. And they kept trying to touch my shit. They were no longer allowed to touch my shit.
Yeah, and they didn't like that at all. It's like, but we want to use the space for what purpose? And we just want to. It's like, it's his wizard's tower. Why are you? Stop. But
Get
I wouldn't go in a wizard's tower. I just wouldn't do it
it's like
So
it.
I
unless I
was
have
gifted
business.
I was gifted the space inside of one of our players' keeps. And the only person besides me that could enter it was the player who gifted me the space because respect, it is initially his. He gifted it to me. Well, every player in the party except that person wanted to enter my finite space. They were not allowed.
Yeah, because they just went, what's in it? What's he storing there? It's like he's trying to be the best sorcerer he could be. That's his personal space. He plans on doing his resting there when he does decide to take the downtime to dive into possibly spell research. That's where he's going to do it. He's putting it's like it's his store, it's his personal space. Let him have his personal space, while simultaneously not actually liking it when other people invade their personal space.
Yeah, they
Okay,
got upset. They got upset when somebody went to their space, but it was okay for them to go to mine. That didn't work out very well for them.
Yeah, because they
okay,
got
They
I'm going to get off of here because
are
it's past 7
yeah.
and I'm kind of fading out because I had to take Benadryl earlier. So,
Well, this was the last spell we were
needless to
going to
say,
cover, anyways. But what's to say? They
needless to
got
say,
it.
our local rogue in that campaign did not appreciate that every time she tried to approach my tower, she get barked at and then bit.
Yeah, yeah. But Lady
okay, have
Kill,
a good night, guys.
yeah,
Yep, you
Lady
too.
Kill, you have a great night.
Okay, thank you.
For all those who watch, thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and join us next week as we dive deeper into spell shenanigans.